Hey guys, so I'm recording this on my phone. I don't know what's going on, but iMovie just keeps freezing on me constantly, so I'm going to have to do this on my phone and then upload it. So today I have another video of some ghost stories that I had submitted. If you're interested in me reading your stories, you can submit them to my email, which is sharewithmamasam@gmail.com, or you can also post them on my Reddit page, Scary Stories for Mama. So let's jump right in. So the first story I have is posted by Crystal Enthusiast 74. It's a very short story. I was coming back home at around 1:30 a.m. and on my estate in front of me, I see some blue fog/energy. And when I drive through it, I got an overwhelming sense of sadness and started crying. A very short story, but that's pretty interesting. I wouldn't know what that was. It sounds to me like, what was it? Almost like it was a memory or a residual something or other that they drove through, and obviously it was something that was of great sadness, and so they got very sad as well. Hopefully they're doing okay. So we got another really interesting one here from a Wybo. That reminds me of Bobo. So Wybo says, early today I traveled to my hometown to visit my family. Everything was normal until I went to bed. I was texting my best friend as usual, telling her about my day and what I was going to do tomorrow. And then I received a text from her saying, "I hear." I thought nothing of it and kept telling her about my day. It's normal for her to start sentences and hesitating before finishing them. I was writing a message until I heard it, a faint melody that sounded like one from a music box. I told her I was hearing that. Turns out she was about to say the same. After discussing for some time, we concluded that it sounded like a xylophone. It was a really calm melody. The only difference was that I would hear it in intervals while she would hear it nonstop. Now, I don't usually think much of it when I hear a melody or strange noise, since it might be my brain tricking me or someone playing music in another room. But the fact that my friend could also hear it, while being in a city 600 kilometers apart, got me really curious as to why this happened. I doubt this could help, but the time was 3:50 a.m. The last time I heard the melody was at around 4 a.m. It's pretty spooky. The only explanation I would have is that possibly it had something to do with their phones. They were hearing a melody through their phones, but I mean, that just seems unlikely. They were both texting. They would have had to have, it's not like they were on the phone talking to each other. They would have had to have been hearing the same thing, you know what I mean, from their phone. So that's unusual. Unless their friend is just messing with them. That one, I don't know. That's weird. So our next story comes from Funfetti Donut. I love the name, by the way. So this person starts off by saying that they're not a paranormal person, that they just posted this because they thought it was very, very strange. They were very freaked out. They thought it was very weird. I was coming home from getting coffee with a friend at 10 a.m. this morning. I was texting my boyfriend who I live with that I was returning. He texted me that he had just left the house. As I rounded the corner to my empty block, I saw him down the street and texted him to hold on. He turned around, blew me a bunch of kisses, and waved at me the way he does. He turned around and I looked down at my phone to call him since he was just out of earshot and I wanted him to wait for me. I dialed his number and when I looked up, he was gone. He picked up and I asked him where he went. He said he was in our backyard, which was impossible since I was standing right next to our house and he was down the street. He thought I was joking, and I asked him if he was wearing his blue shirt with green pants. He said yes, but I've been in the backyard getting my bike. Out he walked from our backyard to the front of the apartment building, looking exactly like the person I saw down the block, who also looked exactly like him, dressed like him, and acted like him. Obviously, my logical mind says that this is just a really, really weird coincidence with a very friendly stranger who looked just like my boyfriend. But why would this stranger turn around when I texted him, wave at me, and blow me kisses? There was no one else down the street behind me either. Any theories on what you all think this might be? Sure, I've got theories. Crazy ones. My first immediate thought was, doppelganger. I know, I'm crazy. It's a little strange that it is in the same vicinity as their house. Vicinity? I don't know how you say that. So it makes me wonder if he, was in the front of the house and then went to the back of the house. They also state in their in their post that they asked if he was pranking, and he said no, that he's not pranking them. And this person said that it would actually be pretty funny if that was the case, but it's not. So my other second one would be a glitch in the Matrix. I feel like such a dork saying that though, because like the whole like simulation Matrix reality thing, I don't really 100% believe in. I know there is tons of people who believe the simulation theory, including Elon Musk, who is extremely smart and not somebody that would just throw stuff out there for any reason. So it is very plausible, the whole, interdimensional beings and all that kind of stuff. It just seems a little strange that this literally happened in front of their house. I don't know. But the fact that she knew what he was wearing already when she didn't even know what he was wearing because she left the house before he even got out of bed. It's interesting. So I actually have a story for you guys as well. So my mom actually texted my husband the other night because I was already in bed. And she told him, and she actually sent a video and a message in our family group message saying that her radio just stopped working for no reason. So in my parents' garage, they have my dad's workbench, and on the work, it's like a big, it's like a huge desk like that my dad has. It's his workstation or whatever. He has a radio on top of the workbench. Well, the radio just stopped working suddenly, like boom, stopped working. But what was strange about it is my mom's like, well, they have the radio and then they have the CD player on top of the radio because they're old school like that. The radio was still powered on, the CD player was still powered on, but the speakers weren't working. So my parents have their radio and the CD player sitting on the bench, and then they have 3 mounted speakers on the walls. And everything just stopped working. My mom didn't know what happened. She went to bed. A couple days later, she went back out there because she wanted to figure out how to get her radio to work again. Turns out that all 3 of the plugs in the back of the radio came out. So each one of those were unplugged. Nothing else was unplugged, just the speakers were unplugged. It's a little strange because the workbench, my dad's workbench, is flush against the wall. So is the radio. For all 3 of those to come out at exactly the same time, nothing else was unplugged. It's strange. At first I thought, maybe the speakers blew. That's what my dad thought too. Nope. All of them just unplugged all at the same time immediately. So I thought that was a little weird. And my mom was a little freaked out. And then we just started talking about like all of the kind of weird things that's happened to us. Like, I always say, well, I don't have a lot of ghost stories. I don't have a lot of weird experiences. But when you go back and when we actually think about all the weird stuff that's ever happened in our houses, we actually do have quite a few experiences, all of us in our family. And I just kind of nonchalantly told my mom, well, I wonder if it has something to do with the fact that I used to play with a Ouija board in our house in Indiana. And my mom was like, what? I know that this is an unpopular opinion. I don't believe in Ouija boards. I don't think they work. I just don't believe that. Now, I do think there are ways to communicate with spirits. I think that there's ways to interact with energy and stuff. But to actually use a game that was made by Parker Brothers, I don't buy it. I think there's a mass hysteria type thing associated with Ouija boards. So I don't believe them. But I did tell my mom, it seems like after that is when all of this weird stuff had started happening in my family. And I mean, it happens to all, like me, my mom. I don't know if it happens to my dad. It might, but he's just kind of oblivious. No, it does happen to my dad. My sisters, just little weird things. Like I've shared my stories before in other videos. I also left out that the house in Indiana, which was, I call it the Candlestick House because we lived on Candlestick Drive. I also saw a knight in shining armor in that house, which I had forgot to mention. I don't know, it made me wonder like, oh, well, we never had anything weird happen before that. So I don't know, we were talking about it. I told her to download a spirit box and just start talking because they've been having some strange things happen in that house. Her cats have been acting weird, and we'll see if she can get the spirit box working and then see if she can get any information. Look at the glare on my glasses. I'm gonna start going like this, like, hello guys. Have you had any paranormal experiences happening in your house as of late? I hope you guys have a great day. Don't forget to send me your stories, darn it. Do it! I will see you guys next time. Goodbye, friends.